Alright, Danny, come sit. Alright, so why do you guys think that the protagonist in The Zen and Art of Motorcycle Maintenance is left nameless?
Alright, well, I think it's in order for the author to create and maintain a level of mystery and a level of like wonder in the reader of like who is this guy, or where does he come from? You know, he doesn't give us, at least not a lot of specific or any detailed background as to who he is or what he does. He just tells us he likes motorcycles, he likes riding them, and he's on a big trip with his son. You know, so I think that's to keep the mystery alive, the wonder of who this guy could be and what he could represent.
Yeah, I think he definitely wants to separate the protagonist from the other characters, pulling the attention to the protagonist to fix our mind on him, to say, okay, what's so special about this guy? Why is he nameless? You know, he wants us, I think, through further characterization, we'll get something away from it.
At first I thought he just left it nameless so the readers could relate to him and maybe like see themselves as him. Like, I don't know, older people read the book, maybe they saw themselves riding a motorcycle with their son as like a normal vacation. But I don't know, now I kind of think, like later we'll talk about the ghost, or Phaedrus. I think that he says it because since he gets his ideas from Phaedrus, that he's just trying to like say that he doesn't know who he is, or he's just not himself because he gets ideas from something else.
I kind of agree with you. I think that he doesn't mention the character's name because he doesn't want to make him seem like as a separate person from this ghost. He wants them to be like one. So because he's getting all his ideas from this ghost, like even if it is a ghost or if it's not a ghost, if it's actually, you know, like a character from one of Plato's writings. But I think he doesn't want to distinguish the two. He wants to make them seem as one. So that's why he's not giving it a name. That way you can't attach it to anything. And I don't really think he's ever going to give us a name to the character. I think he's always going to make the main character seem like there's something that's kind of distant, so that you can't really you can connect with it, but not as much as you could with like a character's name.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's just to distance the guy, not only from the reader, but also from the rest of the characters, to make him seem more unique, more different, more separated, or what have you. I think that's part of the main reason why he maintains his name a secret or hidden or not.
Yeah, maybe he just does it for like the plain fact that he just wants to make it like more mysterious. I don't know, leave it interesting, leave it open for interpretation, for like, I guess, so people could have discussions like this and like, you know, think about it like, oh, why? Because maybe it doesn't even, I mean, later on I'm pretty sure it has a significance, but as of right now, maybe it's just, well, like, who knows?
Yeah, and to touch upon the mysterious part of the novel, you know, about the ghost, and if he's real, if he's not real, and that's something we could discuss. You know, throughout the first 4 chapters, we are introduced to the ghost Phaedrus, which, you know, we don't know if it's actually a real ghost or if it's just, you know, a bundle of his ideas, which he seems to be afraid of, and he's seen at the end of the fourth chapter, you know, just seeing the ghost and being terrified that he's calling his son's name. So I think that's something he wants to keep. Either the Phaedrus is a real ghost, or it's just a bundle of ideas that he regrets from the past that he wants to keep away from his son, since the ghost is seen calling his name Chris, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, to comment on the ghost, I think the ghost is not a ghost. I don't think he's a being that floats around in space. I don't think he's, you know, like Casper the Ghost. I think he's more like an idea, a memory, a regret, or something in the main character's past, something that he did, someone that he met, and something in his past that he wants to keep away from his son, and that's why he fears when he sees or imagines the ghost calling his son's name. As he's imagining the ghost saying Chris, that's like him imagining whatever this is from his past, whether it's a person or an idea, a belief or a regret, getting close to his son, and that proximity or that coming close of that idea to his son, I think that's what he doesn't like, and I think that's why he is scared, or when he sees, quote unquote, or hears, quote unquote, the ghost calling Chris's name. Because I think, again, I don't think it's something that exists. I think it's something that happened. I think it's something that he wants to keep away from his son, and whether it be getting closer now, or whether it's him seeing it get closer in the future and wanting to separate it and wanting to keep it hidden, and that's why I think he freaks out and he gets scared when the ghost is calling his name.
I agree with you. I mean, when I first started reading it, for some reason I actually thought it was a ghost. I thought it was like a mystical creature or whatever those things are. And yeah, now that I agree with you, I think it's a set of ideas. I think it's like maybe like a past event or like just one way that of thinking. But like I agree with you guys, but just to make it like more interesting, like why would he give the ghost a name if it's like a set of ideas? You know,
Well, I
why
think-
name it Phaedrus?
I think because the narrator sees it as something that's real, then it's a very real problem to him. It's a very real situation. It's a very real scenario to him. So he wants to give it a name. I don't think it's person putting the name onto the ghost. I think that's coming from the narrator's personality. I think that's coming from within the narrator to give that person or that entity a name in order to make it seem more real to him. But I think that by keeping the ghost with a name, a very weird name, because it's not like he names the
Like Tom.
right. It's not like he names the ghost Tom. It's
So
like
like a history behind it.
it's Phaedrus. It's something weird, something that escapes you, something that he doesn't want to be close to him, and that's why he gives it such a not weird, but such a distinct or yeah, different name.
Yeah,
So
this might not be true, but if he gives it, like he might just give it a name to like make it seem maybe not real, but make real to the readers, like something that you could picture. You get me? Like if it
Yeah, that
is,
you can like connect with,
Yeah.
kind of, because if it doesn't have a name, it's kind of just like, and say that we're going along with the thought that it is an idea and it's not an actual being, then without a name, it's like, it's just kind of there, you don't really
Yeah, like
fear
you
it,
don't
like
know
you
what it is.
yourself don't fear it, you kind of just like, you let it pass by. But with a name, even if they are just ideas, you kind of tend to fear it, and you can connect with the fear that the main character has because it has a name, it has something that you can like attach to, and it's not just like this abstract, like this collection of abstract ideas. But at the same time, it's kind of hard to figure out if it is a ghost or if it's not a ghost, because in the beginning, like when it's first introduced, it does seem like a ghost. Like it really, like the way he describes it, he goes like, "Oh, like I haven't been alone. Like all these ideas aren't mine. They're like from Phaedrus," and that makes you seem like as kind of as like if he was possessed or something. Like if these ideas like were coming from like something else within him. Like it's unsure. But then it goes on to the next chapter, and then it doesn't mention it for a while, and it kind of makes it seem like, you know, like it's not really a ghost. It was just kind of like, oh, let it pass by. And then when it comes back again, and then he talks about it approaching his son, then it makes you think like maybe it is a ghost again. But also what you were saying before, it does make sense that it could be an idea he doesn't want his son to have, because you know that's what a lot of parents do. They don't want their kids to have think a certain way, or to have certain ideas, or to go through certain things that they went through, or even like they don't want their kids to ever know things about them,
yeah, it's a
and you
condition.
protect them from that. And I
Right.
think that could be the same thing that's happening with
Right.
Phaedrus and his kid.
going back to the name, I think that he gives it that name because if it is, which I think it is, a set of ideas or a regret or something from his past, you can't just call it a ghost. You can't just be like, oh yeah, that ghost, because then it leaves the idea or it leaves the possibility behind that it could be something else other than an actual ghost.
He doesn't say it's a ghost, right? Like out front, he like makes
No,
it seem.
he just, I
He
think
like
he
makes-
just says
yeah,
like, oh,
so-
it's Phaedrus, and like,
Yeah. So even if like it's not a ghost, he kind of makes it seem that way. Maybe so like the readers could like relate to the fear. Maybe they could fear it themselves, and then maybe get them to start thinking the way he does and having the same mindset as he does.
Right.
And maybe that's what he wants for his son, but or maybe he just doesn't want the son to fear it at all and like keep him like away from it.
Right. Yeah. I think it's definitely something having to do with not a ghost, but something having to do with Phaedrus as an idea, Phaedrus as a belief, Phaedrus as a history, a past, a situation, something.
Yeah.
And that's why he doesn't call it the ghost. That's why he calls it Phaedrus.
He gives it a name because you don't give a name to something that's not significant. So
Right.
you know, you give the name, it's something important for the narrator.
Yes.
So you know, it's definitely something that
So
is will develop over the how to read the novel.
Mhm.
That's what I think.
So okay, another question.
and then,
Yeah.
okay, so
Oh,
then
you were saying
speaking of
something?
the main character, like, do you guys think that he's judgmental, or that's just like human nature, what he's doing? Like, is he extra judgmental more than like everyone is, because we all are judgmental to some level, or is it just like?
I don't know. I didn't perceive him to be as judgmental. I didn't perceive him to be as someone who casts judgment on other people. I just think he's someone who's set in his way, someone who does what he does because he thinks it's the right way to do it, and because his experience dictates that it's the right way to do it. I think it's very much so like the example of, and however stereotypical this sounds, it's very true. It's the example of the old 60-year-old Midwestern farmer who's been doing something for 30 years, and you come and show him a new way, a new advancement in technology to do something, and he's still going to do it the old way because that's how he learned, that's how he was taught, and that's how he's going to do it because that's the only way in his mind to do the right thing.
That's how it worked for him.
And that's how it works for him, right? So I think that's what the main character feels. I think he feels that no matter how many good mechanic shops are out there, no matter how many machines they have or how much tools they have, the best motorcycle maintenance that can be given to his motorcycle is the one done by him, and he's going to keep doing it because that's how he's been doing it for 15, 20, 30 years, and that's the way it's going to be because that's how he says it's going to be. I think that's the type of guy he is, and I don't think he's judgmental for that. I just think that that's how he is, and he doesn't cast judgment on other people. He doesn't try to change other people. He just simply does things the way he does things and lets everyone else be, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. I mean, being judgmental is kind of innate. I mean, whether you want to or not, you see someone walking on the street, you think something of them. Like, yeah, you might not want to, but it still pops into your head, it's still a thought. So, I mean, I guess when reading it, how the way he thinks about other people and, like, what he says, what he thinks about them, it kind of makes you think he's judgmental because he really is judging them. But, again, he's like Danny said, he's not trying to change them or tell them that this is wrong. I mean, he acknowledges the fact that John fixes his motorcycle one way and he does it one way, and he thinks his way is better, but he doesn't go out and tell him that his is wrong or anything. He just lets it happen and has his own thoughts about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a natural quality too, you know. Whatever you do it because you believe this is the right thing to do, and you do it because it works for you and you know how to do it well. You know, if you didn't know how to do it, you wouldn't be doing it yourself. So, you know, experience comes into it. In the case of the narrator, you know, he fixes on a bike while John, his friend, doesn't have the same experience with motorcycles as the narrator does. So he prefers taking it to the mechanic. But due to the fact that the narrator had a bad experience with the mechanics, you know, he took upon the challenge to, you know, do all the motorcycle maintenance by himself and, you know, research the motorcycle and know all the entities required to maintain it. But it's definitely, you know, whatever you do because you believe in it, and unless proven otherwise that there's another way to do it better, I don't think you would change your ways.
And I think even proven otherwise, there's no way to change his
there's
ways.
still that.
I think he's the guy. He's the type of guy who, you know, is gonna do it the way he's gonna do it because that's how he's gonna do it, and there's no changing his mind whatsoever.
I don't care what you
Period.
say.
Exactly.
And that's kind of admirable almost that he is like he's so set in his belief because there's so many people that just change their beliefs so easily, and it's like you can't really like believe them in anything because they're not set. They don't know what they're believing themselves, and it's nice that he knows what he believes. The only part about him that I just don't like is the fact that, like, aside from him knowing what he believes, he kind of like elevates his own beliefs, and he kind of puts down other people. Like with his friend, he's like, he makes it seem bad that his friend doesn't care for his own motorcycle, but it's like he didn't go through the same experiences as him. Like, how would he know to care for his own motorcycle? That's not what he wants to do. So it doesn't, like, but he makes it seem bad, but that also it's because we're inside his thoughts, so maybe that's why I thought he was so judgmental, because we're inside a person's thoughts, and like, in every day we're not in everyone else's thoughts. So, like, we hear our thoughts, and we don't think it's judgmental because they're our thoughts, but now I think since we're hearing someone else's thoughts, that's probably why it comes off as judgmental.
Yeah, if it were the other way around, we probably think John was judgmental too.
Right.
Yeah, if he was seeing story from his side, then
I don't think
the point of view definitely shifts our perspective.
Yeah, I don't think he's judgmental, and I don't think he puts down John. I think he's just trying to protect John, and not protect him, but he's trying to save John from having to go through the hassle of being stuck in the middle of nowhere without knowing anything of what to do with the motorcycle. I mean, it's one thing breaking down in Detroit or in the middle of Chicago, which I say Detroit or Chicago because I think they're in the Midwest. From what I've been reading, I mean, I can kind of guess that they're in the Midwest. But really, in any big city, breaking down there is not a big deal. You call a tow truck. You get help, you wave someone down, you take it to a mechanic, you walk it somewhere. But I mean, if you're stuck in the middle of Nebraska with miles and miles of cornfields around you, like, what are you going to do when your motorcycle breaks down? That's what he's trying to stop from happening to John. I don't think he's putting him down. I think he's trying, and essentially there is a right and a wrong. I mean, it's not like there is a right way to deal with motorcycles and there is a wrong way to deal with motorcycles. Like, it's not something like, oh, you have your opinion, I have mine. No, there's a way to do it and there's a way not to, because if you remember how I think it was in the second chapter when it was